15 years ago, in-house agencies were never seen as a place where creative would thrive. It was actually the place where old creatives went to die because they were done with the advertising industry. That has definitely shifted. There's a very strong trend of creative work going in-house, and there's something about having close proximity to leadership and to the source of the business that is attracting creatives, because they get to see more of their work actually go on air than when you work at an external agency.
I see. And tell us about sort of how you go about recruiting, or how your colleagues should go about building and attracting. And certainly there's some great groups like you guys in New York City, and then there's others that are spread out. How do various enterprises go around nurturing that or recruiting?
You go about it many different ways. I think that the way that has been obviously the most effective to us is pick up the phone and call the people that you worked with before. This is a business where if you're a creative, you're in it for life. That's what you do. You build multiple relationships with people throughout your career. So when it comes time to build an organization from scratch, you start picking up the phone and calling, hey, I used to work with this guy or this girl at this other company. Let's come in and work together. So I think that was kind of like the most effective way of getting good talent in. And then obviously with all the support of the infrastructure that Verizon has, we can tap into areas of expertise that for example we didn't have before, like what I mentioned on industrial designers or architects. Because of the work that we do, which is not just advertising or not just digital, our skill set is a lot broader. We needed that specialty recruiting resources to help bring those in.
And another question is about sort of the nuts and bolts of running an agency, or getting a handle on managing all this creative and workflow. That was a big challenge that's outlined by the ANA. The agencies have been at it for a long time, or they've built it up organically. What about challenges around workflow, asset management?
I think I think that was also one of the brilliant things that were defined very early on in our business case. We call the business case, the strategy for building the in-house team. The way that we work and the way that we are scoped is the same as any other external agency. There is a scope of work. There is a staffing plan to deliver on that work, and we get funded to do that. I am not a catch-all, department that anybody can call within the Verizon organization and say, hey, I need help with a banner. Can you guys design, something for me? We don't do that work. So that's a good, front door process. So we keep all of that unfunded work at bay.
Let me ask you about, you have a very deep relationship with several agencies. McCann does this incredible TV work. Tell us a little bit about your relationship with your agencies and what you see in terms of the relationships perhaps of companies with the big agencies, how you see your relationship, and how you see that perhaps developing industry-wide.
Right. So I think one thing that as an, if I'm putting the hat of an advertiser, right, or marketing organization, and I work with multiple agencies and I have an in-house team, the thing that we always recommend is be very clear on what the responsibilities and the swim lanes are. Unless you get high on the anxiety and creating anxiety around your team, we don't choose that path. We don't want to be seen as the team that is going to come in and steal business from agencies. We don't pitch against other agencies. Agencies are not briefed to pitch against each other. We don't find that that contributes to the overall, strength of the relationship and the quality of the work that ends up going out.
And finally, one thing that we're very interested in is 5G. And what that might mean in terms of what you guys do and the impact of 5G in the media world, perhaps.
Yeah, I would say, one of the things that has me the most excited about working for a company like Verizon right now is that we're finally taking off the hat of being just a telecom and being a technology company. Verizon is the first company worldwide to launch 5G as a technology platform. And the things that you're going to be able to do with that are just unimaginable at this point. I think that the impact that businesses will have, the number of new companies that will be created just because of the ultra wideband connectivity that we're going to be able to offer to consumers. That's going to be really revolutionary. We're calling it the fourth industrial revolution.
And for you guys, you're going to be involved with marketing that revolution incrementally, I guess, as it hits more markets, because there's a lot of education that's involved, isn't it?
A little bit, yes. A little bit. I think that what's important for people is, everybody's hearing about 5G, but what people really care about is, okay, so what am I going to be able to do with it, right? So there is, yes, a lot of education that comes with it, but then there's also a lot of work that has to be done with, again, the business portion of the house. Hans Vestberg, our CEO, spoke at CES about the 8 currencies of 5G, which are the areas or the industries that would probably benefit the most out of the 5G platform. So it's all about just releasing the technology, collaborating with entrepreneurs to get to that next level of innovation.
And finally, as you meet with your colleagues and you made this big presentation this morning, what do you hope your colleagues, the A&A, the marketers, take out of this idea of in-housing, of the in-house agency? What do you hope they take from it, and how do you see it developing?
Like I said during the conference, in-house is not about doing collateral anymore. It's about having an important role within the marketing mix. It has been most effective for us at Verizon as being the ones that control the brand narrative and the look and feel of how we show up in our many different channels. For other companies, it could be different, but for us, that's our role. I see more and more of that happening, and in-house agencies taking a more center stage role alongside the stronger agency partners.